Welcome to YouTube channel Bookwise with Vishal. Today we're diving into something pretty special, I think. We're going deep on one of the really big ones in modern fantasy.
Absolutely. We're not just skimming the surface here.
No, definitely not. We are setting out on an in-depth exploration of Philip Pullman's incredible His Dark Materials trilogy. That's Northern Lights, The Subtle Knife, and The Amber Spyglass.
And it really demands that kind of focus, doesn't it? This isn't just a simple adventure story.
Not at all. It follows these two kids, Lyra Belacqua and Will Perry, across, multiple parallel worlds.
But the real core of it, the mission, if you like, is massive. It's about resolving this huge cosmic civil war.
Yeah, and the whole thing, the entire story, it's driven by this really radical philosophical argument. It challenges, centuries of Western thought, basically.
It really does. And at the heart of that challenge, that mystery that just pulls you in right from the start, is dust.
Dust, right. It sounds simple, maybe, but it's so much more than just some magical plot device.
Oh, absolutely. Pullman presents dust as, well, the fundamental particle of consciousness itself. Self-awareness, maturity. It's all tied up in dust.
And here's where it gets really tangled and fascinating. The main power in Lyra's world, this big controlling force, they see this fundamental awareness, this essence of being human.
They see it as original sin.
Exactly. As sin, which is just, wow, it turns everything on its head.
You've got this incredible tapestry, witches, angels fighting each other, talking polar bears in armor.
Armored bears. Can't forget those.
Never. And these oppressive theocracies. And it all somehow revolves around this idea of self-knowledge, of dust.
So this controlling power, the magisterium,
Yeah.
they're basically a huge monolithic church-like authority.
And they fear dust. They fear it because dust represents choice, curiosity, basically reaching your full potential as a conscious being, anything they can't control.
So our mission today for you listening is to give you that deep dive, a shortcut maybe through the trilogy's huge sprawling plot.
And also into its core philosophical arguments, I think.
Definitely. And how the destinies of Lyra and Will, which are so deeply intertwined and, let's be honest, pretty heartbreaking.
Oh, absolutely heartbreaking.
How their journey actually ends up saving, well, the entire multiverse.
It's really an allegory, isn't it? About the dangers of dogma, the absolute necessity of free thought.
And what it truly means to grow up, to leave childhood innocence behind. It's profound stuff.
So to really get into it, we have to start at the beginning. Volume 1, Northern Lights. Or, as many of you might know it, the Golden Compass.
Right. This is where Pullman lays down the rules of Lyra's world. And it's a world defined right away by something unique. The relationship between a person and their soul. Okay, let's unpack that. Because the first thing that hits you, the most striking thing about Lyra's universe, has got to be the demons.
Oh, yeah. It's such a brilliant concept, isn't it? For world building, for character, everything.
So explain demons. What are they exactly?
They're quite literally your soul, externalized, made manifest outside your body, taking the form of an animal companion.
Your soul walking beside you as an animal.
Precisely. And they're the visible representation of your inner nature, your personality. For kids like Lyra, her demon, Pantalemon. Well, he's constantly changing.
A mouse 1 minute, a bird the next.
A wild cat, an ermine, yeah. Always shifting. And that reflects the open potential of childhood, right? Your identity hasn't settled, hasn't narrowed down yet.
But for adults, their demon settles into one permanent form, doesn't it?
It does. At puberty, the demon takes on the animal form that best reflects the person's fixed adult nature. It's a really visual way of showing that transition into adulthood.
And Lyra herself, Lyra Belacqua, with Pan constantly shifting. She's just pure, untamed potential, isn't she?
Absolutely. Fiercely smart, incredibly impulsive, pretty fearless.
And growing up, basically wild in Jordan College, Oxford, which isn't our Oxford, we should clarify.
No, an alternate Oxford, an alternate world. And she's running around these ancient scholarly buildings with almost no supervision.
But even Jordan College, which seems like this haven of learning, it exists under this huge controlling shadow.
The magisterium.
Yeah.
You can't escape it.
Define the magisterium for us. It's more than just a church.
No, much more. It's the supreme authority. Think totalitarian theocracy, it dictates everything. Morals, science, politics.
Yeah.
It's all under their control.
So if you're looking for a real-world parallel, maybe think of historical periods where one institution controlled both the state and, crucially, what scientific ideas were allowed.
Exactly. They demand total obedience. And they actively suppress any curiosity, Any knowledge that might challenge their doctrines. They fear questions.
And that fear of knowledge, of questioning, that's the engine driving this whole conflict. But Lyra, being Lyra,
Well,
well, obedience isn't really her thing.
not even slightly.
So the story kicks off, the big mystery starts, when she does something she absolutely shouldn't. She spies on her uncle, Lord Asriel. Powerful guy, kind of scary.
Right, and what she witnesses is him presenting this incredibly controversial evidence to the scholars at Jordan.
What does she see?
He's got special photographic equipment, complex devices, and he's showing images of these tiny shimmering golden particles, dust.
Dust. There it is again.
And these particles, this dust, it's clearly visible swirling around the adults in the room, but not around the children, not around Lyra or the college servants' kids.
Interesting. So it's linked to adulthood somehow.
Exactly. And Asriel connects it to the Aurora Borealis, the northern lights. He shows them a picture taken through a special lens, revealing a city shimmering within the lights.
A city in the sky. Proof of other worlds.
Proof of other worlds, and proof that dust isn't just confined to their reality. It's something fundamental, maybe universal.
And this is where the magisterium's view becomes critical. What's their take on dust?
Their official line, the absolute dogma, is that dust is original sin, made physical, tangible.
So if dust gathers around adults as people mature,
Then maturity, experience, self-awareness, all the things that come with growing up are inherently sinful, corrupting.
it's a complete inversion, isn't it?
Mhm.
Pullman is basically saying the biblical fall, that moment of gaining knowledge and self-awareness.
Wasn't a fall at all. It was glorious. It was humanity's greatest leap forward, becoming conscious.
And the magisterium, they want to undo it. They want to keep people innocent, ignorant.
And therefore controllable. Keep them like children, never questioning, never developing that dangerous self-awareness.
Lyra's own journey starts properly when she leaves Jordan College under the wing of this really glamorous but also quite chilling figure, Mrs. Marisa Coulter.
Ah, Mrs. Coulter, a complex character.
Very. Lyra's initially drawn in by her sophistication, her power. But she quickly senses something's wrong, something menacing.
And she soon discovers Mrs. Coulter is connected to these mysterious child abductions happening all over the country. Children are disappearing, taken by the gobblers.
The Gobblers, officially the General Oblation Board, sounds harmless enough.
Deceptively so. Lyra eventually gets taken north herself, and she discovers their purpose at this horrific research station called Bolvangar.
And what they're doing there, it's truly horrifying.
It's called intercision. They are literally trying to sever children from their demons, cutting away their soul.
To study dust,
Yeah.
right? To understand why it settles on adults but not children.
Right. Yes, but the cost. The act of separating child and demon, it's not just physical mutilation, it's spiritual annihilation.
It perfectly embodies the magisterium's goal, doesn't it? Reducing people to something less than whole.
Exactly. The children who survive intercision, they're described as listless, incurious, almost like zombies, soulless husks, robbed of the very thing that allows choice, feeling, consciousness.
It's the ultimate violation of the self. All justified, of course, under the banner of preventing sin.
And this is where Mrs. Coulter's true role is revealed. She's not just connected, she's running the General Oblation Board. She's the mastermind behind Bolvangar.
And then the bombshell. She's also Lyra's mother.
Yes. Driven by this obsessive desire to understand and control dust, control consciousness itself, but there's also this fiercely protective, almost pathologically possessive maternal instinct towards Lyra that complicates everything.
That conflict within her drives so much of the later plot.
It really does. Her desire for power versus her connection to Lyra.
Lyra manages to escape Bolvangar, thanks partly to her own cleverness and partly to help from others, like the Egyptians who've come north searching for their stolen children.
And before she even left Jordan College, remember, she was given something crucial.
Yes. The alethiometer.
The truth teller. Looks like a fancy golden compass, but it doesn't point north.
What does it do?
It answers questions. You align needles to symbols representing your query, and the main needle swings around, pointing to other symbols to spell out the truth.
But it's incredibly complex, right? Needs books, years of study.
Usually, yes. Requires immense scholarship to interpret the layers of meaning in the symbols. But Lyra,
Lyra, this unschooled, semi-wild child, she just picks it up and reads it, instinctively.
exactly, pure intuition, which sets up this fundamental conflict running through the whole trilogy. Lyra's intuitive, free-flowing grasp of truth versus the rigid, controlled, dogmatic knowledge the magisterium forces on everyone.
It's her superpower, in a way.
It is. And it guides her on her journey north, where she starts gathering these vital allies. People who represent freedom, honor, things the magisterium despises.
Like Yorick Burnison, the Panzer Bearer.
The armored bear. An exiled king, tricked out of his armor working in a human town. Lyra uses her wits, her silver tongue, to help him get his armor back.
And his soul, essentially. His armor is his soul for a Panzerbeer.
Precisely. And then there's Lee Scoresby.
The Texan aeronaut. Love Lee Scoresby. With his hair demon, Hester.
A pragmatic adventurer, fiercely loyal, becomes a sort of surrogate father figure to Lyra. Provides practical help, but also genuine warmth.
And all this time, there's this prophecy swirling around her, isn't there?
Yeah.
Mentioned by the witches, especially their queen, Serafina Pekkala.
Yes. Serafina Pekkala confirms that Lyra is the child spoken of in witch prophecy, the one destined to bring about the end of destiny itself, essentially, to change the fate of all worlds.
A new Eve.
Exactly. But here's the crucial part. She must remain ignorant of this destiny. If she knows what she's supposed to do, her choices won't be free, and the prophecy will fail. Her power lies in her innocence of the role.
Which puts everyone around her in this difficult position of needing to protect her, but also needing to keep her in the dark.
A very fine line to walk.
Lyra really comes into her own, earns her name Silvertongue when they reach Svalbard, the kingdom of the armored bears.
Yes, she uses her incredible ability to spin convincing lies, her cunning, to trick the usurper king, Iofur Arachnison.
Iofur wants a demon more than anything, right? He thinks it'll make him human-like.
He does, and Lyra convinces him she can become his demon if he fights Yorick one-on-one. It's pure manipulation, but it allows Yorick to challenge and defeat Iofur, reclaiming his throne.
A brilliant moment. Intelligence and cunning winning out over brute force and misplaced desire.
But that victory feels very short-lived, doesn't it? Because she's then delivered to her father, Lord Asriel, who's been imprisoned by the bears but is continuing his research.
And this is where the first book delivers its knockout punch. The devastating climax.
Asriel isn't the noble rebel Lyra might have hoped. He's ruthless. He reveals his true ambition to break through into another world, the city he saw in the lights.
To wage war against the authority itself. The ultimate rebellion.
But to do it, he needs an immense amount of energy, the kind of energy released only during
Intercision, the severing of a child from their demon.
Yes, and he doesn't hesitate. He takes Lyra's closest friend, the kitchen boy Roger, who followed her north.
Oh God, Roger.
And he sacrifices him, uses the energy from Roger's death, his separation from his demon, to tear open a rift in the fabric of reality, a bridge to another world.
It's utterly brutal, the ultimate betrayal from her own father, using her friend's life as fuel for his grand cause.
It shatters Lyra's remaining innocence completely, destroys any illusions she might have had about Asriel.
And about the nature of this war. It's not just good versus evil, it's complex, and the good side is capable of terrible things.
Absolutely. And this is the crucial turning point for Lyra. Heartbroken, angry, totally disillusioned with both her parents, the controlling, fanatic mother, and the power-hungry, ruthless father.
She makes a choice.
She steps through the rift Asriel created, not to follow him, not to join his war.
But to find out what dust really is. For herself.
Yeah.
On her own terms.
Exactly. She's no longer just reacting. She's taking charge of her own quest, wounded but determined, leaving childhood behind in the snows of Svalbard.
So Lyra steps through that shimmering bridge, Asriel tore open, and finds herself in Sidigaz. And the feel of this world is immediately different.
Unsettling.
Very unsettling. Visually, it's described as beautiful, isn't it? Mediterranean vibe, towers, cafes.
Like a paradise.
It's empty.
Eerily empty.
Except for children. Only children live there. The adults are all gone. Or rather, they're still there, but vacant.
Because of the specters. Okay, we need to talk about specters. They're genuinely terrifying.
They really are. They're these ghost-like, shimmering things that are invisible to children but swarm around adults. And they feed on.
What?
Well,
consciousness, dust, maturity, experience? They latch on to adults and just drain them, consume their awareness, leaving behind these docile, empty husks. But they completely ignore children.
Which hammers home that theme again, doesn't it? Maturity, consciousness, being aware. Yeah. It makes you vulnerable in this multiverse, at least in certain places.
It reinforces the magisterium's warped ideology almost. Innocence protects you. growing up makes you pray. The specters are like the physical manifestation of the fear of
You're
consciousness.
the consequence of something being broken in the universe, maybe those tears between worlds.
That's heavily implied, yes. They seem drawn to these interdimensional rifts. They're a symptom of reality being wounded.
And it's in this strange, dangerous city full of children and soul eaters that Lyra meets the other key protagonist.
Will Perry. Yeah, he arrives in Cittàgazze from a different direction entirely.
He's from our world, right? Our Oxford. No demon.
Correct. He stumbled through a hidden window, sort of natural thinning between worlds in our Oxford. He's on the run.
Why? What happened?
He accidentally killed a man. Intruders broke into his house looking for letters belonging to his missing father, an explorer. Will was protecting his vulnerable mother and in the struggle. Well, he pushed one of the men, who fell badly.
So he's carrying this immense burden. Guilt, responsibility.
And a deep sense of duty towards his mother, and a need to find out what happened to his father. He's serious, cautious, grounded, very different from Lyra.
He sounds like the perfect foil for her impulsiveness.
Exactly. She's all intuition, instinct, reading the alethiometer. He's methodical, careful, burdened by the real-world consequences of his actions.
And their meeting feels destined, doesn't it? The alethiometer even tells Lyra about him before they meet.
It does. It describes him as a murderer, which horrifies Lyra initially until she understands the context.
The alethiometer clarifies. He is a murderer, but the good kind.
Meaning he killed, yes, but out of defense, out of loyalty. It cements their bond almost immediately. They recognize something essential in each other. Two kids carrying impossible burdens.
And it turns out, Will has his own destiny, his own tool to find. Lyra has the alethiometer.
And Will is destined to become the bearer of the second great artifact, the Isahatcher, the subtle knife.
Which is hidden where?
In the Torre degli Angeli, the Tower of the Angels, right there in Cittàgazze.
Getting it isn't easy, though.
No. Will has to fight for it. He battles another boy who wants it, and in the process, 2 of his fingers are severed. He wins the knife, but at a significant cost.
That wound, it feels symbolic, the price of wielding such power.
Absolutely. It marks him physically and spiritually. And the knife itself. It's an incredible concept.
It has 2 edges, right?
Yes, a duality. One edge, the hilt side, is unbelievably sharp. It can cut through any physical material, steel, rock, anything.
Not the other edge.
The other edge is infinitely subtle, infinitely thin. It doesn't cut matter. It cuts the space between elementary particles. It cuts the fabric of reality itself.
Creating windows.
Yeah.
Openings between worlds.
Exactly. He can slice open a doorway from Cittàgazze into our world, or Lyra's, or potentially any other world.
That's immense power. And immense danger.
Huge danger, because every time he uses that subtle edge, he's creating another wound in the universe.
Yeah.
Another potential entry point for specters, another leak for dust.
So you've got these 2 incredibly powerful, unique tools. The alethiometer reveals truth. The subtle knife cuts pathways through reality. In the hands of these 2 kids.
They're the instruments that can potentially reshape existence, for good or ill.
Lyra is still obsessed with understanding dust. The alethiometer guides her again, this time to someone in Will's world, our Oxford.
Dr. Mary Malone, a physicist. But interestingly...
She used to be a nun.
Yes. She left the church to pursue science, specifically dark matter research. She calls the particles she's studying shadows.
And Lyra instantly recognizes them. It's dust.
It is, and Mary has built this complex computer system, the Cave, designed to detect and potentially communicate with these shadow particles.
And when Lyra interacts with it?
The dust, the shadows, they respond directly to her consciousness. They communicate through the machine, and they reveal incredible things.
They confirm they are conscious. They're particles of awareness.
And they recognize Lyra. They identify her with Eve.
The Eve from the Garden of Eden story.
Yes. They reveal that Lyra is destined to undergo a temptation, like the original Eve, to make a choice, a second fall, that will determine the fate of everything, the future of dust, of consciousness itself.
Wow. Okay, so the stakes just went cosmic. No pressure on Lyra then.
None at all. And you can imagine how the Magisterium reacts when they eventually learn about this.
Panic stations, surely. Their worst nightmare. The return of sin.
Absolute panic. It confirms their deepest fears. Lyra must be stopped, killed if necessary, before she can make this choice and unleash awareness or whatever they think she'll do.
Meanwhile, Lord Asriel hasn't been idle.
Far from it. He's been using that bridge he created to gather forces. He's establishing his base, building his army for the war against the Authority.
He calls it the Republic of Heaven, which sounds grand.
It does. He's uniting anyone and everyone who opposes the Authority. Rebel angels who disagreed with the authorities' seizure of power, disillusioned scholars, warrior clans, witches like the fierce Ruta Scotty.
It's a full-blown celestial rebellion.
Exactly. And we learn more about who they're fighting, the authority. He isn't actually God, the creator.
No. Who is he then?
He was the first angel formed. Powerful, yes, but not the source of everything. He basically claimed power, spread the lie that he was the creator, and established this tyrannical regime millennia ago.
So the war is against a usurper, a cosmic tyrant.
Yes. And his regent, the one really running things now, is this terrifyingly powerful angel named Metatron, who used to be the human Enoch, apparently.
Metatron. Okay, he sounds bad.
Extremely powerful and utterly ruthless. He's the main obstacle Azrael faces.
And there's still that environmental threat looming too, right? The dust draining away.
Yes. The witches, particularly Seraphina Pekkala, become increasingly concerned. They can sense it. Dust is leaking out of all the universes through these openings the one Azrael made, the one's will is cutting with the knife.
And if dust is consciousness, then its loss means
Stagnation, emptiness, the end of meaning, perhaps. All worlds slowly becoming like Sitagazi, haunted by specters or just fading into nothingness.
amidst all this cosmic chaos, the bond between Lyra and Will gets stronger.
Definitely. They rely on each other completely. And Will gets closer to finding his father,
John Perry, the explorer who went missing.
who it turns out crossed into Lyra's world years ago, lost his way, and became a shaman known as Stanislaus Grumman, or Japari. He's been searching for the bearer of the subtle knife.
So Will finally finds him.
He does, with Lee Scoresby's help, actually. Lee flies Will up into the mountains.
And John Perry confirms it. That Will is the knife bearer.
Yes. He tells Will about the knife's importance, his role in the coming war. It's this intense, long-awaited reunion.
Finally, some answers for Will.
But it's almost immediately tragic. Just moments after they find each other, a Jagerskold witch, rejected by Perry years ago, and now aligned with the Magisterium, attacks.
And she kills John Perry.
Yes, right in front of Will. He finds his father only to lose him instantly.
Devastating, just like Lyra losing Roger.
Yeah.
These kids have seen too much loss.
It throws Will and Lyra together even more intensely. They cling to each other in their shared grief. And it's in that shared pain and reliance that their friendship deepens into something more.
An awakening love.
The very thing the Magisterium fears. Conscious, chosen connection. The potential second fall.
But there's one more player making moves. Mrs. Coulter.
Always Mrs. Coulter. She's playing a very dangerous game. She's still technically part of the Magisterium structure, but her loyalty is fractured.
Torn between her ambition and Lyra.
Exactly. She learns about the Eve prophecy, learns the church plans to kill Lyra to prevent it, and her maternal instinct, however twisted, overrides everything else.
So what does she do?
She tracks Lyra down, but not to kill her, to protect her. She kidnaps her own daughter, drugs her into unconsciousness with sleeping powders,
And hides her away in a remote cave, believing this is the only way to keep her safe from the Magisterium's assassins and from fulfilling the prophecy.
It's controlling, manipulative, but driven by a fierce, desperate love in its own way.
Leaving Will completely alone again.
Yes. The second book ends on this cliffhanger. The war is about to break, dust is draining, the prophecy looms, and Will, armed with the subtle knife, now has only one mission: find Lyra, rescue her, driven by love and duty.
Setting the stage for the final volume. The Amber Spyglass. Everything is converging. Okay, the Amber Spyglass, the final book, and it just throws us right into the thick of it, doesn't? No messing around.
Absolutely. The war that's been brewing is now fully ignited. Ezreal's forces against Metatron's legions, battles raging across worlds.
And the instability is getting worse. Worlds are bleeding into each other. Dust is vanishing faster and faster.
It feels apocalyptic, and Lyra is still missing, hidden away by Mrs. Coulter.
So Will has to find her. How does he manage that?
He doesn't give up. He gets help from unexpected quarters, two angels, Baruch and Balthamos, who pledge loyalty to him as the knife bearer, and crucially, the alethiometer guides him.
Even though Lyra isn't consciously reading it.
It seems her connection to it, or its connection to her destiny, is strong enough. Will uses it, with the angel's help, to pinpoint her location.
And Eoric Bernison helps too, right? The armored bear king.
Yes. Yorick provides the muscle and transport. They track Lyra to this remote cave in the Himalayas of Will's world.
Just as the Magisterium's forces are closing in, led by Father McPhail.
Exactly. There's a frantic rescue. Will manages to get Lyra out, cutting a window with the knife just as the cave is attacked.
But something happens to the knife during this escape, doesn't it?
It does. In a moment of fear or distraction, Will's focus wavers and the subtle knife shatters, breaks into pieces.
Oh no. The one tool that can navigate between worlds.
Yeah.
Gone.
It seems like it. It's a real low point. It symbolizes maybe how fragile hope is, how the burden might be too much even for the knife bearer.
But it's not the end for the knife, is it?
Thankfully, no. Yorick Burnison steps in again. Using his incredible skill with metal, his breath of fire, his knowledge of materials, he manages to reforge the blade.
He repairs the subtle knife.
How? It's almost mystical. He understands the spirit of the metal, the intention behind it. It's this amazing moment showing the unity of strength, skill, and purpose needed to face what's coming. Will needs both his own resolve and the strength of allies like Urek.
The knife is reforged, stronger perhaps for having been broken and mended.
A powerful symbol, but now Lyra is awake, rescued. But she's changed. She's haunted.
Haunted by Roger, her friend who died at the end of Northern Lights.
Yes, she keeps dreaming of him, hearing his voice calling to her from the underworld. The land of the dead, he's trapped, begging for release.
And Lyra, being Lyra, feels responsible. She decides she has to go there to find him.
It's an incredibly brave, almost reckless decision, but it comes from her deep compassion. She can't bear the thought of Roger suffering eternally. Will, of course, insists on going with her.
How do they even get to the land of the dead?
The knife can cut them a path, eventually, but there's a terrible price for entry. The ferrymen, the guardians, they demand a sacrifice.
What sacrifice?
The ultimate one for people from Lyra's world, and by extension for Will now, too. They must leave their demons behind.
Leave Pan and Kirjava, but there are their souls.
Exactly. It's described as the most agonizing pain imaginable, like tearing your own being apart. Pan and Kirjava are left screaming on the riverbank as Lyra and Will cross over alone.
That moment, it signifies they're truly adults now, doesn't it? Making this conscious, painful sacrifice for a moral purpose, no longer protected children.
It's the final shedding of innocence, absolutely. They choose compassion over their own wholeness.
And what is the land of the dead like? Is it heaven? Hell?
Neither. It's bleak, gray, lifeless. A vast, depressing holding pen presided over by harpies. It's like a bureaucratic waiting room for eternity.
So the authorities' promise of an afterlife.
Yeah.
It's just this. Stagnation.
That's Pullman's critique. The established religious doctrines promised salvation but delivered only this joyless, pointless prison. No growth, no connection, just endless gray waiting. The souls are miserable.
How do Lyra and Will change things?
Lyra uses her gift, not fighting, but storytelling, compassion. She talks to the ghosts, listens to their stories, reminds them of the lives they lived. She awakens their dormant humanity.
And then?
Then, inspired by Lyra's compassion, Will finds a high point and uses the subtle knife one last time within the underworld. He cuts an opening, not back to the living world directly, but out, into the open air of another world.
An escape hatch for the dead.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And as the ghosts stream out, finally free from the great prison, they don't just wander off, they dissolve joyfully.
Dissolve into what?
Into atoms, into the wind. They become part of the living universe again. They become dust.
Ah, so that's the natural cycle. Returning to the consciousness of the universe.
Yeah.
Not being trapped in some artificial afterlife.
Precise. It's the ultimate liberation, restoring balance. Lyra and Will haven't just saved Roger, they've redeemed the very concept of death from the authorities' sterile grip.
That's huge. Meanwhile, up in the heavens, the war is reaching its climax.
Yes. The final confrontation between Azrael's forces and Metatron. And this is where Lyra's parents achieve their own very complex redemption.
Lord Azrael and Mrs. Coulter, together.
In a way, yes. Azrael is still focused on defeating the authorities' regent, Metatron, but Mrs. Coulter, her primary motivation now seems to be protecting Lyra at any cost.
Even from Azrael's war.
Especially from the consequences of it all. She understands Metatron sees Lyra as the biggest threat because of the Eve prophecy. So she does something incredible. She uses herself as bait.
Ow.
She goes to Metatron, pretends to offer him Lyra, plays on his arrogance, his desires. She lures him into a trap, into an abyss between worlds.
And Azrael.
Azrael is there too, and in this final moment, seeing Coulter's gambit, they act together. They grab hold of Metatron, grappling with this immensely powerful angel.
And they pull him down with them into the abyss.
Yes. A simultaneous act of self-sacrifice and mutual annihilation. They destroy the regent, ensuring Lyra survives, ensuring the authorities' power structure collapses, but they destroy themselves in the process.
Wow. Redemption through destruction. Fitting for them, maybe?
Extremely fitting. Ambitious and ruthless to the end, but ultimately choosing Lyra's future over their own existence.
So Metatron is gone, What about the authority himself, the first angel?
Lyra and Will actually encounter him almost by accident. He's not some terrifying presence.
Yeah.
He's ancient, withered, incredibly frail, almost senile, trapped inside this crystal litter or cell, barely aware of anything. Metatron had been ruling in his name for ages.
So the great tyrant is just old and weak.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And Lyra and Will, seeing his frailty, they don't attack him. They just help him out of the crystal cell.
Yet. And what happens?
He dissolves, just drifts away into the air like motes of light. Not with violence, but with a kind of release. The end of the old false god is quiet, almost merciful.
The end of dogma, leaving humanity to figure things out for itself.
That's the implication. Responsibility now rests with conscious beings, not some external power.
While all this cosmic drama is unfolding, what's happening with Dr. Mary Malone? The scientist, none.
She's had her own journey. Guided by the angels, she used the subtle knife to travel to a completely different world, a peaceful one.
The world of the Mulefa.
Yes. These incredibly unique creatures, intelligent, gentle beings with diamond-shaped skeletons who use giant seed pods on axles as wheels to travel, they live in complete harmony with their world.
And they can see dust naturally.
They can. They call it sraf. And they show Mary how it's flowing away, confirming the danger. Mary, using her scientific skills and their natural materials, builds a special spyglass.
The amber spyglass of the title.
Exactly. To observe the dust flow more clearly, she confirms it's escaping through all the windows between worlds.
But she realizes she has another role to play too, doesn't she? Something more theological.
She does. She remembers the dust communicating with her, identifying Lyra as Eve. And she, Mary Malone, former nun, realizes her role is to be the serpent.
The serpent. Like in Eden, to tempt Lyra.
Not to tempt her into sin, no, but to be the catalyst for the true meaning of the story. To help Lyra and Will understand the nature of their own feelings, their awakening love, to gently guide them towards embracing their connection.
Because that love, that connection, is the point.
It's the source of awareness, the thing that attracts dust, the thing that stabilizes consciousness. Mary tells them stories of her own past loves, helps them see what's growing between them.
And this leads to the climax of the philosophical journey, the new fall.
Yes. Lyra and Will, finally understanding and accepting their feelings for each other, share their first kiss. Not out of temptation or sin, but as an act of pure, free, joyful, conscious love and awareness.
A moment of profound connection.
And in that exact moment, the universe responds. Dust stops flowing away. It begins to settle again, to drift back down into the world, drawn towards their love, towards their awakened consciousness.
So the kiss, it heals the multiverse.
It begins the healing. It confirms the trilogy's central radical message. The fall wasn't about sin. It was about the glorious, necessary awakening of knowledge, responsibility, choice, and love. That's the true fulfillment of consciousness. And it's powerful enough to save reality.
Wow. Okay, so the universe is saved, the false god is gone, the tyrant regent is destroyed, the dead are freed, dust is returning. It feels like a complete victory.
It is a victory, a monumental one, but there's a cost, a final, absolutely brutal price for this salvation.
This is the part that just guts you every time you read it.
It really does. They learn the terrible truth from the angels, from Serafina Pekkala. The dust flow has stabilized because of their love, but it will start draining away again if the windows remain open.
All the windows will cut, and the one has real made.
All of them. They've created too many wounds in the fabric of reality to keep the worlds healthy, to stop the specters spreading, to prevent dust from leaking out forever. All the windows must be sealed. Permanently.
All of them, except one, right?
Except one. The window they cut out of the land of the dead. That one must remain open, allowing souls to naturally dissipate back into the universe when they die, ensuring the cycle continues.
But closing all the other windows means
It means Lyra and Will cannot stay together. They cannot travel between their worlds anymore.
they have to go back to their own Oxfords and stay there, forever separated.
It's not just a choice. It's presented as a law of nature, almost, because of their demons.
Ah, right. Pan and Q-Java settled during their journey into the underworld, didn't they?
Yes, that harrowing separation forced their demons into their final adult forms. Pantaleimon becomes a pine marten, reflecting Lyra's fierce loyalty and wildness. Kirjava, Will's previously unseen demon, settles as a sleek, watchful cat.
And demons can't survive for long outside their home universe.
Exactly. If Lyra stayed in Will's world, Pan would eventually fade and die. If Will stayed in Lyra's, Kirjava would perish. To stay together means the death of their souls.
So they have to choose separation to preserve their own beings. It's the most heartbreakingly adult decision.
It truly is. Their final act together is one of immense responsibility and love. They find a quiet place, a garden in the Mulefa world.
And they say goodbye, knowing they can never see each other again.
They share one last profound kiss, and they make a vow.
The vow on the bench.
Yes, to go to the Botanic Garden bench in their respective Oxfords every year on Midsummer's Day at noon and just sit there for an hour thinking of each other.
So even though they're worlds apart, they'll be together in spirit, united by memory.
An eternal promise. It's incredibly sad, but also beautiful in its way.
And Will makes one final sacrifice, too, concerning the knife.
He does, to ensure no one can ever again misuse its power, to prevent anyone from reopening those wounds in reality. He deliberately breaks the subtle knife, shatters it beyond repair.
Destroying the weapon that defined his destiny, cementing the salvation he and Lyra achieved.
It's the ultimate act of responsibility, giving up immense power for the sake of the multiverse.
And Lyra undergoes a final transformation, too, related to the alethiometer.
Yes. As she fully enters adulthood, cemented by her love for Will and their separation, her childhood gift, it fades.
She can't read the alethiometer intuitively anymore.
No, the direct instinctive connection is gone. It signifies her passage out of that state of innocent grace. But she doesn't despair.
What does she decide?
She vows to learn it again, the hard way, through study, discipline, charts, books, through earned experience and wisdom, not just intuition, choosing conscious effort over innate gift.
So connecting this all back for you listening, what's the aftermath? The magisterium's power is broken, right?
Fundamentally weakened, yes. Its philosophical basis that knowledge is sin, that dust is evil, has been completely overturned by Lyra and Will's actions and the revelation about the authority.
So scholars can pursue truth openly. People can embrace consciousness without fear.
That's the hope. The path is cleared for a different way of living, which leads to Pullman's idea of the Republic of Heaven.
It's not a place, is it? Not like Asriel's military campaign.
No, not a political state, definitely not a kingdom ruled from above. It's a state of being, something built here on Earth or in whichever world you inhabit.
Built how?
Within each person's heart, within communities, founded on the things Lyra and Will fought for. Human connection, truth, reason, empathy, compassion, love. Building that republic is the ongoing work of conscious life.
So wrapping this all up, what are the big takeaways from this incredible, complex journey?
I think there are a few core messages that really stand out. First, obviously, is dust.
Dust equals consciousness
Mm-hmm.
and love. It's not sin, it's the essence of life, the thing worth fighting for.
Absolutely. Second, the idea of the fall as growth. Gaining knowledge, making choices, even difficult ones. That's not corruption, it's necessary for true wisdom. Rejecting enforced ignorance.
And third,
The demons. They represent the essential unity of mind, body, spirit. Flesh and soul aren't enemies, they're integrated. We shouldn't try to suppress one for the other, but live fully as whole beings.
so the story ends not with a divine victory, but a human one. Two kids who chose love and knowledge over fear and dogma, and in doing so, saved everything.
That's the heart of it. The Republic is built through those kinds of conscious, compassionate choices.
Which leaves us with that final, really beautiful and maybe challenging thought. Lyra and Will's love endures across the void between worlds. Invisible, but real and unbroken because they choose to keep it alive in memory.
A testament to the power of conscious connection.
So the question for all of us maybe is, how do we build that Republic Evan in our own lives? How do we value that curiosity, that empathy, that connection above dogma and fear right here, right now?
That's the ongoing task, isn't it? The work left for us to do.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into the incredible mythic landscape of his dark materials. It's been fascinating to unpack it all.
It really has. We hope this gave you a clearer map through the sheer philosophical and narrative richness of Pullman's masterpiece. It's a story that stays with you.
It definitely does. Please like, share, and subscribe.